Hello, in this video I'd like to cover downloading, installing Kali Linux in particular, and also setting up VMware tools in Kali. Alright, or in Linux in general, but particularly in Kali in this video. Alright, so let's get started. The first thing I'd like to do is download Kali. Again, Kali download. I'll get you right to the download page. Alright. This is the full version. You can take that. There are the lighter versions might be missing more than you might need, and there's also using different desktops instead of the one that the preferred one uses. So just keep that in mind. But I would just go with the full 64-bit unless you are a Linux Pro and you have a very if you know exactly what you're doing. Also, they have the images right here. We have a 64, both 64-bit images for VMware and Virtual Box. I downloaded the one for Virtual Box. So what I'll do is I'm going to install it. I've already downloaded it. Here's my downloads folder, along with lots of other things. Which, so I've got the lots of stuff here. Let's see. Kali. So I have here's the image, the OVA, open virtualization virtual application, and I also have the ISO here, which is did I just go by it? There's the Ubuntu ISO. Here we go. Here's Kali ISO. So we have lots of different. Is this the actual? I might have the image in both, actually. What's in? Yeah, this is actually, I think, the 7-zip. Anyway, we'll do an install through VMware, and then I'll do an import, although VMware tends to be a little bit weirder on their setup. So let's start with VMware. I'll bring that up, especially since it runs a little bit slower, and it's going to eat up a little bit more memory, I believe. If we're creating a new machine, so if I was opening up and importing in a already made virtual machine, I would hit Open Virtual Adapter and I would select the OVA right here, and I would import that in. This OVA was built for VirtualBox, so it might be a little difficult to import that in. In any case, I've downloaded the ISO, so the installer disk, so we're going to point to the installer disk. And click that, and then click downloads. I have lots of different versions. I got to clean out my hard drive. So here we are, Kali Linux. I actually got the .3 version, which is relatively new. I'm going to click next. I'm going to do a Linux, and this is a Debian based. So you could probably do a Debian 64-bit, Debian 9 64-bit. I'm just going to do Ubuntu 64-bit. That really just sets the future parameters. It's like it's a template, so it doesn't really matter a whole lot. So I'm going to do Kali, and then I'll do _demo. Next, I'm going to do 20 gig sounds fine. I like to do it as a single file. Just simply, I think it's easier for backing up to move a single file over. It's more prone to having corruption, so that might be what they're talking about, easier to back up. But it also is better for performance by their own admission, so I just go single file. You can do whatever you want. Next, we're good. So we're going to start off with the system in NAT. If we want to do any upgrades, I'm okay with that because, again, I'm not going to do any scanning or any attacks just yet. So I can switch it over later, or I could switch it over right now. It might run a little bit faster, the install, because it does updates during the install, and it might run a little bit faster on the install if I do NAT. But if I wanted to switch it over now, I could go over to my custom built VMNet that I built earlier. But I'm going to keep on NAT so the install runs faster. That way you can download updates. And there we go. Now with VMware, you don't have to do anything else. You just hit play. It's going to boot it up, boot it off the... by the way, be careful not to run the live disk. Yeah, this is live up front. You want to go with install. You could do the regular install or the graphical install. I'll do the text-based install just to show it to you. The graphic one will just have the same thing, just things you can point and click to. So I'm going to install it with the graphical or with the text-based. Although, to be honest, I'll probably, once this thing gets up and running and the install going, then the good old-fashioned Linux install screen, which I think I remember seeing back in 1998. So, excuse me. All right, so American English, obviously, and it's going to load this up. It's loading up modules from, I'm guessing, the ISO from the CD-ROM, if you will, the virtual CD-ROM. I don't think it's getting it from the internet. Now I might be starting to get things from the internet. That was it detecting the mirror, and that's it setting up its IP configuration, including IPv6, which I'll time out on. That's it getting IP address. So the host name, again, I'm going to just call this Kali Demo, or I can call it, here, I'll call it JJA Kali, whatever you want. This is an attacking box, so yeah. Oh, that's right, because you're not allowed it goes back to Debian. That's funny. They didn't change that code. All right, there we go. Domain name, we don't have a domain name, so I'm going to continue. By the way, I'm just hitting enters. So root password, again, it's tradition to make it Tor. You can make it whatever you want. Just don't, I'll show the password in clear too. It's not exactly secure. Hit the space bar. There it is. I'm just going to make it Tor all root backwards, which is not very secure. But again, Kali's not meant to be used as everyday use. So re-enter the password, continue. Right now I'm just using my up-down arrows and my left-right arrows to navigate around and hit enter when I want to select something. We're in the Eastern time zone. That is correct. This is going to tell me about VMware tools. We'll worry about that at a later time. Let's see. We're going to use the entire disk because this is a virtual machine. It only has one purpose. We're going to just, we're not going to separate our partitions onto different disks. We're going to do all files in one partition. There we go. Finish partition. Write changes to the disk. Absolutely. So now I've just told it to format and repartition the whole disk. Well, not in that order. Repartition and format the whole disk. Now it's going to copy the data over. Again, this is going to be a rather long process. I was hoping to break out. Shift escape. There you go. So I just broke out of this session, and I'm going to pause the video if I can get to the interface. Never mind on the VMware. Never remind me. I'll take care of that on my own. And I'll. Okay. Yes, recording. Click here to pause. Okay, well, it's just finishing up the install now. I was hoping it would show another screen by now. Here we go. So now it's doing the Grub loader, which is the boot sector loader. So that should be going quickly. It's going to ask me if install Grub loader to the master boot record. Yes, we're going to use our the Kali Grub loader to boot up the operating system. And then it's going to. So one question it did ask me was setting up a network mirror. I said no to it simply because I don't plan to have an internet connection all the time, and it would speed up the installation. So again, I'm going to treat this as kind of a burner image, one that we can throw away when we're done. So all right, so is finishing up the installation. Just to save on video time, I guess I'll wait. Okay, there you go. Make sure you move the sure. So I'm less worried about that. Worst case scenario, I can just tell it not to. Okay, what were you doing? if I did want to remove the installation media, I could right click on this and take it out of there. I'm just kind of waiting for this installation to finish. Kind of stuck in the middle here whether or not to pause the video or not. Let me pause the video until it actually reboots. I don't think it'll ask any more questions. Okay, so it's rebooted now. So I'm going to log in with my login of root and Tor. And it will boot up to the desktop. And then we'll set up VMware tools. All right, because we're in VMware. Really the first step is to tell it to mount the VMware tools. I'm just trying to remember where it is compared to, yeah, it's right here. So install VMware tools. I click on that. Nonsense. Okay. So a couple choices here. I can either open it up with VMware tools, right? And what I need to do essentially is get this tarball, as we like to call it. Let me do it. I'll do this the GUI way, and then I'll do the next video. When we do VMware, I'll do that the non-GUI way. So in this case, I'll copy it. Right, might as well use all these fancy GUI tools that Linux has been trying to implement. So we copied it. Let's put it into downloads. I'm going to right-click and do paste. So now the tarball is there. Now I'm going to extract it. We'll extract it to the folder. Downloads, sure. Select. And here it is being extracted. And now we have these VMware tools. This is what we're going to have to run, the Vmware Install PLL. So that I'm going to have to do with the command line. So again, let's do these fancy tools. I right-clicked up on the update here, and I selected Open Terminal. Now I'm in Terminal. I'm right in that folder. If I do ls, you're going to see all the files are there. What I want to do is run VMware Install. So I'll do a /VMware, and I can tab it out, install.pl. Hit enter. There probably is a way to accept all the defaults, because the defaults can get a little annoying here. But you just keep entering and go through all the defaults. There's no reason to really change anything. All right. And it's going to require a restart at the end. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. No, which is the default. Again, I'm just keeping it simple. All right, so it looks like we are installed. And then I'm going to do, it tells me I have to restart my Windows. So I do a shutdown restart -R, and we'll do it right now. So I'm going to do a restart. There it goes. Looks good. Grub is loading up. It's bringing up my disk and my boot drive. There I am. It's coming up. And when it is done and I log in, we'll test it. Let me bring up Notepad++. That's my go-to Notepad thing. These are notes for my other thing. And I'm going to just, well, let's log in. Tor. And let's bring up Notepad as an example. Okay, so I'll bring up Notepad. And we'll test copying this over. So I'm going to grab risk mitigation, copy that. I thought I clicked Notepad, but it took a little too long to load up, so I clicked it again, hit paste. It brings it over. So there's my copy and paste. I'll close this out, close without saving. And if you go into the command prompt, if I hit Control V, it won't work, right? When you go into the terminal in Linux, you have to hit Control Shift V, and then I can paste into the control panel, or into the terminal, excuse me. All right, so now that we got that going, let me just show you a little bit of a Virtual Box and how to get that installed in Virtual Box, and we should be good. So let me hit power that off. I'll do it the GUI way. Sure. And then we'll keep that running there as an example. Let me bring up Virtual Box. Okay, I don't have a Kali box. Now, if I was making a new one, I would just click new, right? I would name it, so we'll just call it Kali demo, right? We'll say it's a Linux box and it's running, again, we'll pick on Ubuntu 64. Next, again, that just sets the parameters for this. It only gives it a gig of memory, which is interesting. It works well with that setting. I've played with it, so I'm okay with that. 10 gig is not enough, though. It's quite conservative in its estimate. So right there, I just said, again, just create a disk drive to make it dynamic so it expands. I like 20 gig, so I'm going to move that to 20 gig. Remember, you have to, or the install will fail. There's not enough room. So now that you have this Kali demo, right? What you need to do is then start it, and then when it comes up, it's going to ask for that ISO. So in this case, I'll click the folder thing, bring up my downloads. Here's that ISO. I hit open. Then it mounts it into the CD-ROM, and it's off and running. It's going to come up with the live. All right. Or the boot menu, which has the live options. All right, but that's not how we're going to do it here. So let me shut down this machine. So it's right control to get out of. All right, control that, and I'm going to just power off the machine. Go away. I'm going to delete it, remove, go away, delete all files, and then what I'm going to do is instead import that machine. Since I had the actual, I'm going to show you how to import a machine. So I hit File, Import. Okay, import appliance. And then I select that OVA that I have in my downloads. Okay, there I am. Oh, that's it. That's for GNS3. And I hit next. It's going to have me give me all this information. That is fine. Import hard drives as VDI. That's fine. This was crashing on me with my Linux version, and I think primarily because it didn't support the display model. I think the SVGA options were off. So you could try to tell it not to do SVGA. I can't show you that. All right, I'm going to let this run. I'll come back with the video because we're running low on time. I'll let this finish up, and you see it's going pretty fast, and then I'll come back to you if I can actually pause it again. It does this, which is annoying. I would like the controller to come up. Not going to happen, so let's just do this. I'll click here. Okay, so when it finished up importing, it brought me right back to this screen. I'll just highlight the device. I'm going to hit Start. And away it's going to go. There's a Grub loader. Booting up the hard drive. I'm going to close this because I just hate watching the preview screen keep changing. And I'm going to minimize that. All right, there it is, up and running. I'm going to log in as root and Tor, which is the default for the image coming up. Here we are. It's thinking. It's going. All right, so once this is up, it's going to look remarkably the same. It actually has this extra tool, I think, which I can't say I used a lot in my past. So anyway, once it's up and running, just like the Virtual Box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount I'm sorry, my brain's not working right now is where that is. I know it's somewhere. Like, oh, there it is. So I'm going to mount that CD-ROM. All right. Once that CD-ROM is mounted, let's do this all terminal style. Especially since I don't have to use the tar command. I don't want it to run automatically, no. I'll do it myself, thank you very much. So if I CD over to media, gotta get case right. CD-ROM, there's a gun. If I go CD over to media, if I do LS, there's gonna be two CD-ROMs. You could LS both of them, CD-ROM. that has... Did I do that correctly? Okay, I guess they both have. All right, so they both have them. So I can copy either one. So let me just copy this. I'm going to copy everything over to my downloads. So again, the home folder for root or for the current user is going to be the tilde downloads. And again, I can tab that out. I'll just copy right over to downloads. I won't make a directory, which would be good form actually. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it right. So let me CD over to downloads. Let's make directory. We'll just call it VBox tools. Okay. So now I can CD back over to the CD-ROM. That's right. Or I can tell you what. This is how a pro would do it. I'm kind of going from my DOS experience and moving around directories to do it. I could do CP, media, CD-ROM, star, everything. Okay. I want to copy it to where I'm at, so I'll just type that all out. Tilde, downloads, and then it was VBox tools. And then I want to be recursive because there's folders in there. So I want all the folders, so that's what recursive means. And I'll be verbose just so I can see all the commands. And away it goes. So now if I CD into VBox tools and do an ls, I should now see all my folders and my information. There's the folders, the blue items on the left here. All right, so let me just quickly do I'll run this VBox. So the command you want to run here is VBox Linux additions add-on run additions.run. I hit that. Yes, I want to continue. It's going to give me a couple weird errors, but for the most part, it will run and run well. Again, I'm at the restart after it's done because it's a service that has to run a daemon because we're in Linux that's running in the background. I do remember this taking a little bit of time. Maybe I should pause the video and then I'll get back to you when it's done. Okay, it's done installing, so I'm going to do a shutdown restart. Last time I did this, actually, it crashed on the restart. Not a big deal. I just started the system back up. I'm curious if it's going to restart. It did. Okay. Well, no, I think it was when... okay, we're good. All right, so when this restarts, I should be able to copy and device is over. All right, so again, what we did was we covered importing and installing Kali Linux. We talked about installing VMware tools and virtual VBox tools in Linux. So this thing hurries up and comes in before my timer runs out. I'm trying to make a 25-minute video, so that was my goal. Root, Tor. Now I feel the pressure. I'm just typing. Let's grab a different thing. Let's grab security policies for my notepad. Or here's VBox notes. Anything interesting here? These are all my notes. As connection vulnerabilities. Let's do that. So I'm going to copy that over. Again, if I just do the leaf pad, I can Control V over here. That might make sense for moving commands over because that way you can edit them, do any last minute edits here, and then have like your running notepad. You can also click on the terminal screen. I'm on terminal. And then hit Control Shift V and it will paste it in there. Okay, so that's the video. I hope this will help you out in your projects and in future endeavors. All right, I'll talk to you later.